Now, this is what you need to start off every morning at camp. Will here from Going Awesome Places, and I'm at Pinery Provincial Park in Ontario, Canada. Let me know if you can relate. You're out in the wilderness, maybe you're car camping like we are, you're portaging, or you're backpacking the highlands. Something that always sucks is the coffee. So instant coffee is kind of the de facto way to make coffee while you're camping or backcountry trekking. The way it's made is basically by taking coffee that's extracted and then applying a freeze drying or spray drying process. The result are these granules that you'll typically find in products like this. So the pros, well, it's really inexpensive and coffee is quick and easy to make. It's also got an insanely long shelf life. So all you gotta do to make it is take some granules, about a teaspoon. So that's about here. Put in the cup. Take your boiling water, pour, mix, sip, and enjoy. But that's where the cons come into play. Instant coffee is generally made out of lesser quality beans, and you can't really extract or preserve flavors that aren't there to begin with, right? Instant coffee also has a little less caffeine, good for some, but maybe not so much for others. And, you know, for me, instant coffee is a little bit watered down, I'd say. It doesn't have a lot of complex flavors, and it carries a bit more bitterness as well. So if you're camping like us, you either suck it up with instant coffee, don't have coffee and be cranky all day, or you try to find a better solution. So then came along inventor Alan Adler, who wanted to create a superior coffee making device, and that's when the AeroPress was born. It's really taken the industry by storm, and the outdoor community has really embraced it because of how cheap, simple, easy to use, and light it is. It's just this. It's mostly made out of, it's actually all made out of some type of plastic and a bit of rubber. It's a piston style, full immersion brewer that forces coffee through a thin paper filter directly into your cup. Doesn't get easier than that. So I've been using Chemex all these years, and I didn't really think about getting this until this year for camping. And that took me down this rabbit hole of looking at and watching all these James Hoffman videos to try to figure out the ultimate AeroPress technique. So here's how it works. You start off with 11 grams of coffee, and I've pre-ground this at home. This is an ethical bean Ethiopian, and the handy little spoon that comes with the AeroPress all the way to the top is actually exactly almost exactly 11 grams. So we're going to fill that up, shake that out. All right, we got 11 grams. You also want to prepare 200 grams of boiling water. So I've already pre-boiled the water over here. Now, really to get things started, you gotta twist out this cap, and you're gonna put that paper filter in. Thin paper filter goes right in, and you're gonna drop it, twist to lock. All right, after that, you wanna put this on top of your cup and take the coffee beans and put it inside. Coffee beans are in. And then pour in that 200 grams of hot water, and that's gonna get to about level 3. Try to get all those coffee beans soaked. Perfect. Then we're gonna start the timer, and we're gonna let it sit in there for about 2 minutes. All right, now that the 2 minutes are up and it's gone through its immersion, we're gonna give it actually a light swirl. Don't have to go that hard. And this is really just to settle the grounds to the bottom, and we're gonna wait for another 30 seconds. All right, time's up. And the final step is to give it a nice gentle and consistent push, constant pressure, don't have to go crazy, and we're basically forcing all that coffee through into the cup. And voila. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna flip it upside down. And we got 1 cup of coffee. Oh yeah, this is way better than instant coffee. So much more of the profile of the beans, way more complex, less bitterness, more of what I'm used to back home. So I think the next step is to maybe try the AeroPress Go, which is a smaller kind of designed for camping style of AeroPress. It's roughly the same price actually. Smaller of course and more compact. It makes less coffee, but is worth trying. But I'd say if you're not looking for that ultra light setup for camping, let's say you're not backpacking and going out into the backcountry, I think this is enough. So yeah, this is the AeroPress. The last thing is something that you might not have heard of, but is actually really simple in concept. Imagine a tea bag, but instead of the tea, you put in freshly ground coffee and create steeped coffee, if you will, basically immersion style of brewing. And many companies actually done this already, including SD Bell & Co. in Ireland and also Wildland Coffee out in San Diego. Essentially, again, you take that tea bag with freshly ground coffee, in this case, Brazilian coffee. Then they use a process called nitro flush, which gets the air out of the package, which makes sure that the coffee is fresh and also is good for 12 months. And the way you brew is actually really simple. You open up the package, you got your basically coffee bag or tea bag. I got boiling hot water over here. We're gonna pour in a cup of water. And then we're gonna put the coffee bag inside, dunk it in, make sure it all gets wet, leave it inside, and we're gonna steep it for 5 to 7 minutes. Once the time is up, take a spoon, fork, or spork in this case, just mix it up a little bit. I think you're supposed to squeeze the bag a little bit. You're gonna take the bag out, it's done steeping, and sip. It's nice and smooth. Could be a little bit stronger, not as complex, but still a really good brew of coffee. Definitely better than instant coffee. But I love how easy this is. You're literally dunking it, letting it steep, infusing it in water, pulling it out, and you can pretty much drink right away. So a lot less steps, just water, and that's it. I could see this being really good for backpackers that already have something like this, a mini boiler for hot water. Ditch the instant coffee and go with coffee bags. So that is how you make coffee while camping. You have 3 different options. You have instant coffee, the AeroPress, and coffee in a tea bag. This by a company called SD Bell & Co. But if you're looking for a more local option, there's a company called Wildland Coffee that does the same. So I'd say out of the 3, your best coffee extraction is gonna be the AeroPress. Just incredible flavors, pretty close to what I get back home with the Chemex. After that, you have coffee in a tea bag. And I'd say the flavors are a little bit more muddled, but it's a lot better than the instant coffee. So hopefully this gives you some ideas for your next camping trip and how to level up your coffee game, bring it up to the next level, and to do it without adding too much bulk or weight. Thanks for watching, and make sure to keep going to awesome outdoor places. Now this is coffee that I can drink. Oh, it's so simple. I love it. So compared to instant coffee, a little bit more work, but worth it. And really not that bad. I mean, you gotta spend some time to do the pre-ground, boil the water, you gotta bring all the gear, you got your 2.5 minutes basically to run through the entire immersion process and to force it through the piston, but that's it.